Hi, and welcome to Succeeding in a Hybrid Learning Environment, a workshop brought to you by UTSA's Academic Success Coaching Program. My name is Heather, and we're going to spend the next few minutes talking about 7 easy steps for succeeding in a virtual or hybrid learning environment. First, before we get started, please take a moment to sign in using the QR code or the link that you see on the screen. We'd like to know who was able to join us for this workshop. So if you need to pause this recording and sign in briefly and then come right back, that would be great, and we'll get started. Just a quick overview of the steps we're going to talk about in the next few minutes that we have together. First, treat your online classes like you would a regular class. Second, create a study space. Third, get organized. 4, plan. 5, create a routine. 6, communicate. And 7, use your resources. Let's jump right in and start talking about number 1, treating your online classes like a regular class. What I mean when I say that is you want to make sure that you are spending the same amount of time and energy in planning and treating your online classes like you would if they were all in person. There are a lot of different options for taking classes right now, whether in person on campus or online or a hybrid version of each. So you want to make sure that you are giving each one the attention it needs so that you don't fall behind and you stay on top of your coursework. One of the ways that you can do that is to make sure that you are participating in your online courses. Now, if you are in asynchronous classes where the work is very self-paced and you don't necessarily meet together, one of the ways you can participate is to make sure that you are utilizing discussion boards, course messaging, and just touching base with your professor and your peers and whatever communication method is used in that class. If you are in a class where you're meeting live together at some point, then you want to make sure first that you become familiar with the different virtual meeting platforms. Your instructors are likely to use a variety of different ones, so get familiar with whatever they're using so that you're not trying to troubleshoot technical difficulties while you're supposed to be paying attention in class, and so that you can arrive in that Zoom meeting or whatever meeting they're using on time. Another thing to consider is to keep your video on, if at all possible. If it's not interfering with the quality of your connection, definitely make sure that your camera is on and you're ready to participate. Chances are you will pay more attention and get more out of class if you are participating and your camera is on. If your camera is off the whole time, it's just a lot easier to become distracted or to zone out and just not really pay attention. Throughout the course of the meeting, you want to make sure that you do participate to the best of your ability, whether that's unmuting your mic if that's allowed, to ask questions, or just simply using the raise hand function or the chat or those reactions, just to let your instructor know that you are engaged and you're following along. More than anything, you want to make sure that you follow virtual etiquette. And when you're online with others, you want to make sure that when you're not speaking, you've muted your mic so that you don't have any embarrassing, distracting noises coming from your background. And also, regardless of whether or not your video is on, go ahead and stay off your phone during class time so you can fully engage. You also want to make sure that you create a space that you can set up and study in. This is important for so many reasons, but especially if you are spending a lot of time studying and engaging in classes at home, you want to make sure that you have a space that's different from other areas in your home, if at all possible. It doesn't have to be an entire room. It can be a corner of your room where you have a little desk or a TV tray, just a place where you can set up your computer or other device and make sure that you have some space to study. And some things to consider are to identify a space that is going to work for you, where you're going to be effective in making sure that you are comfortable enough so that you can pay attention and focus, but not so comfy that you lose focus and get distracted. You want to make sure that you have the supplies you need ahead of time so that you can, once you sit down in that space, you can get started studying. As much as it's important to have a space where you study, it's also important to take a break and stretch and move your body. You'll hear me talk about that several times throughout this workshop and this presentation. It's important to take breaks and not sit for too long a period of time. Think to yourself about the space and what distractions there might be, and then ask yourself, how can I minimize these distractions? Is there a lot of noise going on? Do you need to wear some headphones or your earbuds? Maybe you're in a place or in a space that has other people there. Do you need to communicate your study schedule or your study needs to your roommates or your family or whoever you share your space with? And finally, consider just using this space to study and not to do anything else in, so that you don't get distracted. So in other words, it's probably not a good idea to set up a study space in front of a TV in your living room, or in the same space that you, if you're a gamer, maybe the same space that you play games in. You definitely want to have a space that you can go to for studying and then leave when you're done. Another tip is to get organized at the beginning of the semester. One of the best things you can do for yourself is to be proactive in getting organized. So gather all the supplies you're going to need for the semester. This includes textbooks. This includes whatever device you need to connect online or to take notes. And one of the best places you can go to find out what supplies you do need is your syllabus for each of your classes. So make sure you read that syllabus carefully and then gather the supplies that you'll need ahead of time. Create folders on your desktop so that you can keep all of your documents in one place. If you create a folder on your on the desktop of your device, you can put your syllabus in there. You can put any notes that you take, as well as homework or other documents that you need for that class. And then you're saving yourself time later in the semester. You're not having to look in multiple different places for those. You have them all in one spot. Also consider syncing your calendars between all of your devices so that you're well aware of your due dates and exam dates. And you might consider downloading the UTSA mobile app, because that's a great way to also stay in touch with your classes and the due dates that are coming your way. Another thing you want to do proactively is to plan. You want to plan for your classes, and especially those classes that are online or hybrid. You want to make sure that, again, as I said earlier, you're spending enough time engaging in that material, and you're not just not planning for them and forgetting about things that are due. So let's talk for a minute about planning. When you plan, the best thing you can do is start off first thing in the semester. And the more time that you invest in the beginning of the semester planning for your classes and the due dates and everything that goes along with them, the more time you'll save yourself later on. So again, this is where you want to check your syllabus and write down due dates and exam dates. You're also going to want to make sure that you stay up with any changes that are listed in your syllabus and update your calendar as well. Understand what's expected of you in terms of attendance policy, late work policy. And if you don't understand those expectations, or if you can't find those policies anywhere, make sure you reach out and ask your professor. They'd be happy to share that information with you. When you're thinking about planning, you want to think about dedicating time for classwork, homework, attending class, again, whether that's in person or a meeting, or even watching a recorded lecture video. And then in addition to that, and doing homework, you want to make sure you plan some time to study. And here's a pro tip: set your own deadlines ahead of schedule so that you can stay on track. If you have something due on Friday, maybe give yourself a deadline to get it done by Wednesday. And then if you get busy, as you are likely to do, and you run up against your deadline, it's not such a crisis moment, because you've given yourself a buffer of a couple of days to actually get things done. Since we're talking about planning, I wanted to share a resource with you that's available through our website. And this is our fall semester calendar. Now, we create a semester calendar every semester, fall, spring, and summer. And it's just an example of one way to plan for the semester. What I love about this document that you can print out or fill out online is it's your entire semester at a glance. And if you think that's a little overwhelming at first, bear with me, because the idea behind this is just to look at your semester ahead of time so that then you avoid any unpleasant surprises as you're planning for your weeks. So let's say you were taking 4 classes. Here's something, your fall semester calendar would look something like this. You would take a look at one class and write down your exam dates, maybe a project due date, and then the next class, any papers that are due, maybe presentations, exams and projects, more exams. And if your final due dates or the dates of your final exams are known, then you can put that there on the final exam week. And so all you have here is just at a glance, those big items that you know you need to plan for. And then you can begin to see patterns as they arise throughout the semester, and you can keep track of the weeks as you go by. If you're interested in using this document as a planning tool, you can grab one on our resource page at the link that you see on the screen. Another step that you can take to help yourself stay successful is to create a routine. Our bodies and brains really thrive on consistency and routine. So consider the following throughout this next semester with this hybrid learning environment that we're in. Try to wake up and start your day at the same time each day. It doesn't have to be super early in the morning, but here again, consistency is key. And on those days when you don't have in-person classes, but you actually just have online classes, do yourself a favor and dress as though you would be going to campus. You want to get out of those pajamas, brush or comb your hair, and give yourself this attitude of, okay, I'm ready to tackle my day. I'm ready to take on these classes and do the work. And again, you're going to want to schedule time in your day to attend class, even if it's asynchronous classes. You want to make sure that you carve out some time on a regular basis throughout your week so that you can get this work done. And again, you want to schedule some regular breaks from your computer. And then finally, you get to set your bedtime, right? But keep a consistent sleep schedule and try to make sure you're getting enough quality sleep each night to help you do your best the next day. Let's see what that would look like using this little calendar here. Perhaps you have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class that's online, but you only meet once on Mondays. You would maybe set aside time on Wednesday and Friday at the same time to continue working on that class. And then you would schedule in your in-person class where you would actually have to go to campus. And then perhaps you have another online class that's asynchronous and you don't have to meet at all as a class, but you just work on your own time. But you still want to carve out some regular time during the week for that class. Maybe another in-person class that only meets once a week, a lab, your work schedule, so that you know these fixed commitments. What we're starting with here are your fixed commitments so that then you know the free time that you have around those. And then in that free time, you want to make sure that you build in some time to study and do some homework and maybe attend some SI sessions to get that group review in. Don't forget though, that with all that studying and homework time, you want to build in breaks. Don't forget to eat lunch. Don't forget to take a break for dinner. And then also just build in some intentional breaks again, so you're not sitting at a computer for too long a period of time. And then again, you want to try to keep a consistent sleep schedule throughout the week and even on the weekends. Here are some tips for avoiding digital fatigue throughout your semester. I can't say it enough. You want to build in some breaks so that you're not sitting too long at the computer and you're giving your eyes a rest. And consider this, if you're taking a screen break from your computer, but then you're on your phone during that break time, your eyes are still looking at a screen. So when you take a screen break, try to make sure that it's a true screen break and you walk away from your devices. Even for 5 minutes, it's going to be effective. Again, stretch and move your body throughout the day during those breaks and before and after you start working on classes or schoolwork. And here's a quick tip to also help avoid digital fatigue. It's the 20-20-20 tip. If you are in a meeting or if you are sitting down at your computer to study for longer periods of time, every 20 minutes, pick a spot about 20 feet away and look at that spot for about 20 seconds. And what this does is it really actually gives the lens of your eye a break from focusing on something that's so close up. So again, just a quick tip, something you can do to give your eyes a break if you're in front of your computer for a long period of time. Finally, consider a blue light filter. A lot of devices have those built in, or you can find glasses or overlays for your screen to put on to just block those blue lights that stimulate our eyes and can lead to fatigue. You also want to make sure that you are communicating with your professor throughout the semester, especially if you are in those online classes that maybe only meet once a week or don't meet at all as a live class, because this is your chance to really start building that rapport with your professors and then adding them into your network of support throughout your college journey. So make sure that you're taking the initiative and again, being proactive and communicating with your professors. One of the best ways to reach out to them is via email, but here's another pro tip. they get a lot of emails in their inboxes. And so you want to make sure that your email stands out as professional communication so that they're more likely to read it and respond to you. And to do that, it starts with that subject line. Make sure that you put the class name or the course number and section number in there, and then a brief but descriptive subject, and let them know why you're reaching out to them. Always start your email with a polite greeting. Never just jump right into what you have to say. This is not the same as a text or a message through social media, right? So you want to make sure you keep it professional and start with a greeting that says, "Dear Dr. Smith," or "Good afternoon, Professor," just something really simple like that. In the body of your email, make sure you let them know why you're emailing, include any questions you have. And again, you want to keep it simple and brief, but get to the point. End with a closing that includes something very simple like "thank you" or "sincerely." And don't forget to include your full name as well as your banner ID number or your ABC 123. This way your professors can identify you as a student in their class. Another great way to communicate with your professors and to receive communication is just checking your Blackboard page for announcements. In fact, you should be in the habit of checking your email and Blackboard page every day, at least once a day. And finally, don't forget to use your resources at UTSA. There are so many resources to help you succeed, but they're no good to you if you don't reach out and use them. And so everything from academic success coaching to counseling services, SI and tutoring, the libraries, so many more resources are available to you, both on campus and online. On the screen, you can see a link that will take you to a website that has a lot of different little short 2 to 3 minute videos that explain a lot of the different resources on campus. Or you can just go to the website at www.utsa.edu and use the search tool to find the different resources that are available. Let's take a moment real quick to just review those 7 easy steps for succeeding in this hybrid learning environment. First, treat your online classes like a regular class. Then create that dedicated study space. Make sure you get organized early in the semester. Make sure to plan. Create a routine that works for you. Communicate with your professor. And finally, use your resources at UTSA. One of those resources is the Academic Success Coaching Program. We offer individual academic coaching appointments and workshops and a lot of different resources. So check it out. Connect with us on social media for updates, and feel free to reach out to us via email or give us a call at the number you see on the screen. If you are interested in meeting one-on-one with an academic coach to help you develop strategies that we've talked about in this workshop or other study skills, then you can request an appointment at the bit.ly link you see on the screen. And that will take you to a brief form where you can just submit a little bit of information about yourself and what times work best for you, and then we'll get you scheduled with a coach. Thanks so much for hanging in there with me as we talk about some steps for succeeding in this hybrid learning environment. Please take a moment to complete a brief evaluation at the QR code or the link that you see on the screen. We really do appreciate your feedback, and thanks again so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful semester.